What is the path forward for Klay Thompson and Golden State?
Well, this is why I left.
And Klay Thompson, 2 of 10 last night, 1 of 8 from 3. I think we all believe he deserves an opportunity just to see this through.
What do you want me to bench me?
The Warriors are in the midst of yet another nightmare season, and things have went from bad all the way to worse, and some of these factors aren't directly in Klay Thompson's control. I mean, it's not his fault that Draymond Green can't help himself and has to beat the living crap out of each and every player he faces off against. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, Pitchmas is here! Every time PrizePicks does this promo, we make money. And it's because all Kevin Durant needs is to score 1 point on Christmas Day for his square to hit, which means we only need to get 1 pick correctly in order to 3x our money. I make my picks on my Instagram story each and every day that I play PrizePicks. I post my followers that win on my story as well. And if you haven't played PrizePicks yet, this is the best time to do so because your chances of making money are so much higher. Just use my promo code microphone when you sign up on PrizePicks to double your deposit up until $100. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? A little over 2 weeks ago, Klay Thompson accused a reporter of trying to get him benched.
What do you want me to bench me?
No. It's like that's
Bench wigs?
I don't think I said that.
Okay. I mean, you can suggest it, it's fine. But, I mean, thanks, Steve, I guess. Like, I don't know, sometimes you earn these things like patience and time to find yourself. And I think history is on our side when it comes to that stuff.
And I guess you could say that this clip was some foreshadowing for the future. I mean, this was way before Draymond Green got suspended, but Andrew Wiggins has been playing his worst basketball as a Golden State Warrior so far. This year, he's averaging 12 points per game with 4.3 total rebounds per game, 1.1 assists per game, and is shooting an abysmal 26.4% from 3. He has a career low 7.4 PER and is contributing negative 0.4 wins. These statistics are the worst statistics of Andrew Wiggins' career, and as a result, Steve Kerr opted to bench Andrew Wiggins. It's absolutely insane to think that what was once the Golden State Warriors' strongest lineup of Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry has officially become their weakest lineup to date. So Steve Kerr opted to bench Andrew Wiggins for Brandon Podziemski, and when asked about it, Steve Kerr said it felt like we needed a shift. I feel like Brandon gives us an extra playmaker on the floor in the starting lineup. Obviously, he's a great rebounder, competes, excellent defender, and then Jonathan Kuminga deserves the minutes, and with Draymond out, it's a perfect opportunity to step in. Now, we have a little bit more on that later. And after the Golden State Warriors game versus the Phoenix Suns, it appears as though his worst fears are being realized. Look, Klay Thompson has had one of the most remarkable careers I have ever seen and was instrumental to the Golden State Warriors winning 4 NBA championships throughout his career. We're talking about a guy that's had 4 50-plus point games and one of the most incredible performances we've ever seen. 60 points against the Indiana Pacers with only 11 dribbles, cementing his status as one of the greatest spot-up shooters in NBA history. When you pair that with the greatest shooter in NBA history, that usually results in a dynasty. And the Warriors have been able to win championships in a plethora of different ways, whether it was the introduction of the perfect small ball lineup earlier in his career, or by building a super team with Kevin Durant, or by drafting properly and reloading more recently. But the one thing that no one seems to acknowledge is the 2 darkest seasons of Klay Thompson's career. During the 2019 NBA Finals, he suffered an injury that used to mean the death of a basketball career, a torn ACL in the 2019 NBA Finals. When he was ready to come back a few days before the 2020 NBA Draft, he once again tore his Achilles, meaning that the Golden State Warriors were not only going to be without Klay Thompson from the 2020 to 2021 season, but he might not be the same player ever again. A torn ACL is one thing, but a torn ACL and a torn Achilles is a completely different story. The only other player that was an all-star that comes to mind that had to suffer through both of those injuries is none other than DeMarcus Cousins. And while he had a significantly different game, things weren't necessarily looking the best for Klay Thompson. He had to go through another grueling year of rehabilitation, and the Golden State Warriors stuck by his side throughout this entire experience. Not only did they extend Klay Thompson the moment he tore his ACL, signing him to a 5-year, $189 million contract, but when they had the opportunity to potentially draft a player that could replace Klay Thompson if he's not nearly the same player ever again, they opted against it, going for James Wiseman with the number 2 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft, opting for need as opposed to talent. I can't help but wonder how the NBA would have looked like if they selected LaMelo Ball instead, but that's a different conversation for a different day. The thing that's remarkable about Klay is he would return in the 2021 to 2022 season, and he'd be instrumental to the Golden State Warriors winning a championship. He wasn't nearly the same player that he once was, but he was a very valuable player, boasting a 1.0 VORP. He never was known for incredible defense, boasting a negative DBPM throughout his career, but at his height of his powers, he was a negative 0.1 DBPM. Regardless, the fact that Klay was able to come back and help the Warriors win a championship despite what he suffered is nothing short of a miracle. But things started to get a little weird following this past offseason. You see, last year, the Golden State Warriors core was in jeopardy. It started with Draymond Green punching the living talent out of Jordan Poole. Clearly, throughout the season, Jordan Poole wasn't the same player again. Clearly, chemistry was off. And at the same time, Draymond Green pulled the biggest power move of his career, essentially telling the Warriors that they had to choose between him and Jordan Poole in the offseason because Draymond Green's contract was expiring. He made demands for a max contract at the time, and even flirted with the idea of teaming with LeBron James on the Lakers or joining the Sacramento Kings. The decision between the championship core that the Golden State Warriors built and the new core that they were building around Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Andrew Wiggins was so difficult that Bob Myers decided to just leave. As a matter of fact, Bob Myers would even admit to this.
What is the path forward for Klay Thompson and Golden State?
Well, this is why I left, first of all. Look, a lot of times people will say it's just business, but this is not a just business situation. This guy, there's going to be a statue of this player outside of Chase Center. He was instrumental in bringing 4 championships. He's beloved inside the organization, the fan base. So it's not so simple as it's money and years. This is why it was hard for me. Like, you get relationships with these people, especially if you've succeeded with them. And that core has been together for 12 years. And that's just so rare now. It just doesn't happen. And so this is a delicate negotiation. From what I know and see, he wants to stay. They want him to stay. Doesn't mean it'll happen. But it is a test. It's certainly a test.
And Mike Dunleavy Jr. would take the reins for him. Immediately, Mike Dunleavy Jr. didn't back down, saying that he was willing to build around the young core, even promising that Jordan Poole was going to be here for the foreseeable future.
Especially with his contract extension, plan to have him here for 4 more years at least.
But alas, a few days later, Jordan Poole was traded for Chris Paul, and Draymond Green decided to extend with the Golden State Warriors. Now the Warriors have a brand new problem. They've extended Draymond Green, which so far looks like a horrific mistake. Draymond Green has had career highs in 3-point percentage, player efficiency rating, and when he's on the court, he's been playing out of his mind. Problem is, you could tell that the Golden State Warriors are actually missing Jordan Poole, at least the version of Jordan Poole that was around during the 2021 to 2022 season. I know we roast Jordan Poole and talk about how horrible his career has been going ever since he got traded to the Wizards, but Jordan Poole as a 4th option or a 3rd option on the Golden State Warriors versus Jordan Poole as a 1 or 2 option on the Washington Wizards, 2 completely separate stories. So far, Draymond Green has been suspended for trying to choke Rudy Gobert and more recently punched the living crap out of Yusuf Nurkic. The Golden State Warriors are currently the 11th seed in the Western Conference. They're 3 games back from a play-in spot. There's absolutely no sign of life anywhere in terms of a complementary scoring partner, Steph Curry. In years past, that would be Klay Thompson. But now, Klay Thompson is in his age 33 season, coming off of 2 major injuries, and apparently the fact that his contract is expiring is starting to weigh in on him. Because back in April, he even said that he was expecting a max contract.
Especially with Klay Thompson, who I'm told has an expectation that he would be rewarded with a new max level contract extension this offseason. He's got a year left on his deal at $43 million. Next year, he's come back this year. It certainly helped the team to a championship last year. Had a historic offensive season this season, just the third player ever to have 300 three-pointers in a season. But this is an inflection point now for the Golden State organization with Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and then Draymond Green, who could opt into his deal at $27 million. Warriors could be facing a payroll and luxury tax over $500 million.
But the Warriors were not able to make any progress with Klay Thompson on contract extension talks. With all due respect, I love Klay, but you cannot give Klay Thompson a maximum contract with the way he's playing. Currently, he is a liability on the basketball court. He has a negative 2.8 box plus minus. He's a negative 0.1 value over replacement player, which determines whether a player is contributing above a replacement level. So far, Klay Thompson is helping the Warriors lose as opposed to win. He's having career lows in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage and is averaging the lowest points per game since his rookie season. And the worst part of all is he got benched in their game versus the Phoenix Suns. Yes, this is something that was completely overshadowed by the fact that Draymond Green decided to go full Jordan Poole on Yusuf Nurkic. But Klay Thompson got benched and he was pissed. According to Anthony Slater, this is what went down behind the benching.
Kind of stammering around the bench. Steph at one point kind of had to pull him away. He was yelling towards the bench. It didn't seem like it was anybody in particular he was yelling at. I'm sure the coaching staff are making the decision, but he was making his opinions felt. Then he walked over and he hit something on the bench and kind of like...
even Klay Thompson is admitting that he's played like crap. But here's the craziest part. Very shortly after this game, Shams came out with a report that I would have never anticipated. Apparently, the Golden State Warriors decided to offer Klay Thompson a contract extension with less years on it than Draymond Green, but was more or less the same amount financially as Draymond Green's contract, offering him a 2-year, $48 million contract extension. But it seems like that's no longer on the table. Watch what Shams has to say.
But his future's been in question. We talked about on the eve of the season, they're not close on a contract extension when they were discussing one before the start of the season. I'm told that the Warriors offered a deal, 2 years in the range of $48 million in an extension to Klay Thompson before the season. And now there's no deal. We're into the season. He's going to play it out. They're going to play it out. And we saw last night, Jonathan Kuminga played a lot. Brandon Podziemski played a lot.
Oh, sure.
Could we see?
Why not?
Could this be, as much as we all want to see the Warriors and their vets get a chance to ride this out to the sunset?
Absolutely.
And while Shams does make a very good point about Klay Thompson's contract, what he says at the very end is the most telling. It's not just Klay Thompson that is performing horribly. Andrew Wiggins is also averaging career lows. The Warriors were really hoping that he would step up and assist Steph Curry with the scoring load. But now you're seeing Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski play more and more minutes. Could this potentially be the passing of the torch? Could this be why Bob Myers stepped down? Because Bob Myers didn't want to disband this aging Golden State Warriors core that made him a 4-time NBA champion and a 2-time NBA Executive of the Year. At the end of the day, the Golden State Warriors have a very difficult decision to make. How do you just allow one of your franchise icons to walk away and finish his career with a different team? It's not like we've ever seen that before. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about all this? Do you think this could be the end of Klay Thompson? He's performing horribly so far. How many chances do you think the Warriors should give Klay Thompson before they punt on him completely? Do you think that he would take a pay cut to return to the Warriors, or do you think he'll find his luck on a different team? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.